Hello, friends. Today you are here for a beautiful supernatural self-care workshop. It's going to be a very experiential workshop where you're going to just get to enjoy being loved on. And before we dive in to the entire experience, we're going to spend some time really digging deep into the heart of self-care. So as you transition into the rest of this workshop, you can be thinking or reflecting on what this looks like to live it out in your daily life. Really learning to love yourself in the little decisions you make throughout the day. So first off, my name is Kristen, and I'm the founder of the Living Drop Collective, which is a beautiful community of people that are really just looking to live out their best self through really investing in their health and caring for themselves. And so a portion of that obviously is self-care, and even just coming from a place of knowledge and understanding and learning so we can change the habits that we have maybe been passed down or learned throughout our life in response to situations. So as we go into this class, the first thing that I wanted to start with is just this picture that you can see here. I think there's probably a variety of things that everybody thinks when you see this little picture. If you're like me, this little icon is like anxiety filled, in the fact that I'm like, oh, where's my charger? What am I going to do? I have so many things that I'll need to do on my phone. And what if my husband needs to reach me later today about the baby? Or if I'm out with the baby, how am I going to get in contact with this person and all these things? And so really within this little icon that we see on these devices of ours, I think the perfect analogy comes in it with our bodies are really the same. The only downfall is that we don't have a flashing red decreasing battery that tells us when we need to be recharged, when we need to take time for ourselves. And if you guys are like me, oftentimes I will get to a place and it's almost a little bit too late. I've pushed myself too hard for too long, and suddenly I just shut down. And so really, self-care, I believe, is a form of preventative care for yourself so you can continue to live out your life at a high capacity. So anyways, a couple things that I wanted to share with you guys is what I don't believe self-care is. So first off, I don't think self-care is this super self-indulgent, eating everything that you want, going to the spa all day, multiple times a month, having really just everything that we want, or getting to go on a huge shopping spree and spend as much as we want. Like, it's not about all of these things that I think the world sometimes thinks self-care has to be about. And really it looks different for everyone, which is why it's so important for you to take time and really dig deep within yourself. Listen to what your body needs, what your heart needs on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis. For you that are here at this workshop, it could be different things, from maybe just slowing down for a season of life and starting to say no to things so you have room to say yes to your own creativity, or maybe that project that you've wanted to work on for years. Maybe it's be able to just have an hour a day to be present with somebody you love, whether that's your, like, one of your family members or your spouse or your child or a really close friend. Just being able to have that time to really nurture that relationship, be fully present with the phone turned off, nothing distracting you, and just getting to enjoy one another. Maybe it's just having a dessert and not having any guilt about it, just fully embracing the sugar and the soul food goodness and all of its glory without telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't be having this. Maybe it's doing for ourselves what we want others to be doing for ourselves, or for us. Maybe you've had those moments where you're like, oh, I just wish so-and-so would do this. Well, how about we start considering how we could do that for ourselves? Maybe this is one that's been convicting me over the last few months, is instead of going on my phone to scroll through Instagram or Facebook, maybe it's choosing to pick up one of your favorite books, or only going on Facebook to post something productive, to say happy birthday to someone, to post something that inspires other people that follow you, or maybe family members so they can see some pictures of your family. But it's not to live in this self-comparison, scrolling, let's just see what's going on in other people's lives because I don't love my own. Really, I think in all this, like, you guys can read the definition here. Self-care is obviously something that you do for you, by you, and it's really about identifying your own needs and taking steps to meet them. Really doing some of those things that nurture you, taking proper care of yourself, and treating yourself as kindly as you want to treat others. And so that's where I really wanted to tie in this picture. This is my son. And I will just say that my need for self-care has increased dramatically, but the difficulty level of doing self-care has actually increased because I'm on 24/7 all day, every day. Even during nap time, I'm doing my job. When he goes to bed at night, the same thing. Like, I am squeezing everything possible into my life during this season. And this picture was actually taken once when he was sick. He was not feeling well. It was one of those moments that's just terrible because you wish within yourself that you could do anything to fix what is going on. Really, I think that emotion for a mom comes from this place of, you see the beauty that is within your own child. You love your own child. And a lot of times we go through our days and we see the beauty in other people. We're inspired by them in different ways. We love them and we want to be loved by them. And so therefore, because of this love for them, we are propelled into action to do things to help them. So, like, for instance, this day with my baby, I was with him all day. I didn't eat. I barely drank any water. I was not taking care of myself because I was consumed with wanting to help him, to love him. And I, right here, you can read, love others as you love yourself. Even that phrase that we hear so commonly, this biblical truth, it's it just really assumes the fact that we love ourselves. And love is actionable, guys. We see it. You see it in the story of me sharing when my baby was sick. You see it in yourself as you choose to do things for others. You love them. You see the best things in them. You're inspired by them. You want to help them. So you do things for them in an actionable way. But really, when it comes to truly loving others at the fullest, it has to start with loving yourself. And when we choose to take time to do things to fill our cups, it actually increases our ability to love the other people around us, because suddenly we're not loving other people because of this need to feel love. Because sometimes we love people because we just want love in return. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's really because we find more value in ourselves when we're doing things for other people. And so what I'm talking about right here is really just the root cause, I believe, of self-care and taking time to care for ourselves is that we need to first start with loving ourselves and not doing things for others because of this need to feel love, but instead doing things to show ourselves love, to feel the love that is already inherently there. It's written all over our lives. We're already loved. We're already made so uniquely with these beautiful gifts that are just waiting to be expressed. And so when we can identify that within ourselves and we can take care of ourselves well, our ability to be able to love the people around us and help them in their lives is going to increase. In the story with Elliot, for instance, I wasn't taking care of myself while I wasn't drinking water, I wasn't eating. And if he would have been sick for much longer, I would not have been able to care for him well because I wasn't taking care of myself. So anyways, hopefully that little comparison helps you guys just dive deep into maybe where you're at in your own self-care journey. So really it's about becoming a priority in your life, making yourself a priority in your life. And it really starts with your heart and your beliefs about yourself. When you look at your life, your actions that you are doing are really just telling the story. They're telling the story for you of what you're telling yourself. every single day. So the thing that I want to encourage you with in this is that the life that you're living right now, it is beautiful and it is perfect, no matter how crazy it is. You are beautiful and amazing, no matter how crazy you think you are, or weird you think you are, or like not qualified you think you are, or unworthy, or whatever these things are that are on repeat in your mind. Like, we need to make self-conscious decisions to love ourselves and find beauty within the chaos of our life. Choose to see it, because you know what? When we choose to embrace it, that's when the trajectory of our life starts to turn around, when we can pick out the beauty and just really focus in on it, and then take time to live out that love for ourselves, because we're seeing the things that are lovable. And then we start taking care of ourselves better, and we just continue to grow. And really, I think every human being is built with this inherent desire to be able to make an impact in the world. And what I'm telling you is that self-care in life is absolutely fundamental to our growth and ability to leave an impact in the world. So really, there's this other quote I just wanted to read that it really lines up with a lot of what I'm saying. It's by Zig Ziglar. He says, "It's impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves." So hopefully that helps you, like I said, just dive deep within yourself, and we really encourage you to be thinking about this throughout the workshop. One thing I wanted to share in this is, a lot of times, I would guess that a majority of the people here are women, and a lot of times what we have seen modeled in our life is not necessarily lining up with what we're seeking through self-care. And so there's this beautiful quote by Chris Carr that says, how would I nurture her if you, or how would you nurture her if you were the mother of little you? So really, like, reflecting on, like, if you were your own self, if you were your own self's mother, how would you want to treat yourself? And then how can we start to make shifts that align with that? And so, like I said, we oftentimes grow up seeing things from our own mothers that maybe don't align with this whole self-care that we want to be living out. And that's why sometimes we fight it so much. Because for me, I've seen a mom that has continuously given herself away for her entire life for the sake of her kids. She loves my brother and I so much. And she has consumed her life for a majority of it with caring for us, and didn't make a lot of conscious effort growing up that I ever remember to love herself. And so anyways, for us, it's really like looking at ways that we can care for ourselves, knowing that even for those little yous, whether it's a friend in your life that you're giving permission for them to love themselves, or it's a child, or it's a family member, giving them permission to love themselves as well. It's just another way that this will really cause positive movement in your life. So anyways, some of the examples of ways where I really start to betray myself when I don't take time for self-care are things like not working out. When I'm not working out, I know that I am betraying myself. I'm not taking care of myself. And I say that because I know I have a strong belief that exercise is important, and I feel more confident in my own skin when I exercise. So when I start to not live out that belief, I really am betraying myself. Also, there's been times in my life where I haven't gotten my supplements in consistently, or I haven't been eating the amount of vegetables that I want to eat every day. And it's not something that makes this huge, like, all of a sudden I can't do anything. It's more that on a daily basis, I feel guilt about it because I'm not living out the beliefs and the values that I have for my own life. So I've really had to create strategies in my life to make sure I'm able to live those out on a regular basis. And that is a form of self-care for me. So for you guys, I want you to just encourage you, when you're thinking about where do I actually start? Where do I start thinking about what would be important for me to start implementing in my life? I would encourage you just to ask yourself the question, have you ever wished someone close to you treated you better? And start with that. Or maybe think through exactly where you're at in life. You know what you need. You know the things that trigger you to cause like anxiousness or frustration in your life. You see the chaos in your life. And so how can you really identify those trigger points, identify the frustrations that you're having when somebody else isn't treating you better, and therefore think about how do you do that in your own life? How do you get really creative to start putting things in place to love yourself? Your relationship with yourself is really what sets the tone for every other relationship you have. So again, love yourself as you are loving others. And so with this, you have to get a little creative, and I'm just putting this question out there so you can start thinking about it as we transition into the next part of this workshop. We'll give you an opportunity to write these things down before you leave today. But a lot of times you have to get creative. You have to think about what resources do I have in my life right now, meaning like how much time practically do I have each day? How much money do I have to invest in this? And then get creative, maybe for like, well, to be honest, for me at times, like self-care has literally just meant choosing to say no to certain things in my job, which really means say no to helping everybody else do their own things, and instead committing to the things I need, and then getting off my phone and not being available for certain amounts of time because I just need to do the things that are important to me. Or maybe for you, it's when you get up in the morning, you do not touch that phone. You don't check those notifications, because those notifications, really what they do is they send you into a spiral of responding to what other people need of you and the demands they have in your day. And maybe you decide to not check those notifications until like 8:30 or 9, and before you're doing things that really nurture yourself. Maybe it's shutting off your phone at a certain time at night. Maybe it's finding childcare for your child for a certain number of hours a week, either to do your own projects, do things with just one train of thought. Maybe it's making time with a friend to go do a fun trip you've wanted to do for a long time. It can be a lot of things, but we'll talk more ideas at the end of this workshop. So I hope this has inspired you to really just start digging deep within yourself as we head into the rest of this workshop. Thanks, guys.